How's it going, everyone? My name is Cadence Hoover, student athlete for Winamac High School, and you're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Riverside Rentals. Discover canoeing, kayaking, and lazy river tubing right here in Winamac. Action Plumbing and Heating for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Been serving people since 1994. And now, the voice of the Winamac Athletic Podcast, Justin Ruff.
Hello, and welcome to episode 5 of the Winamac Athletic Podcast, bringing you closer and closer to Winamac Athletics, an inside look to the athletic program, communicating with players, coaches, Winamac alums. How's it going, everyone? My name is Justin Ruff, Winamac alum, and the voice of the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, we're continuing our exciting new tradition. This is the Winamac Athletic Podcast. A big shout out to our band director once again, Mrs. Sutton, and the Winamac Band for their performance for today's show's intro. I'm absolutely thrilled to be back with everyone today on this exciting podcast journey as we'll explore every aspect of Winamac athletics, highlighting both the boys and girls programs. Look forward every Tuesday for an episode to drop, and sometime, hopefully this month, we will bring out the very first Alumni Throwback Thursday episode, bringing back alumni who've been through it all with a Winamac jersey on. Join us as we bring you closer to the heart of Winamac athletics. Tune in to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or even YouTube for exclusive Winamac athletic content. We can be found on social media. We do have Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube, and we even have a TikTok, no big deal. All that can be found by searching Winamac Athletic Podcast. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a rating, or drop a comment. Even if you have to put my voice on mute, every interaction is valuable for us. If you enjoy listening to delightful content, then this is the episode for you. Today's episode is packed with excitement, no big deal. We're thrilled to welcome a fall head coach who will guide us through their coaching journey, dive into the history of their sport, introduce their talented roster, and share their goals for the 2024 season. Plus, this coach is a Winamac Hall of Famer, no big deal, but that's not all. We're also here from two dedicated athletes in that same sport. Yes, I said two, who will discuss their experiences, goals, and future plans. And there's more. Of course, there's more. Coach Shell, head coach of the girls golf team, will be back on again today. He will join us to talk about their upcoming invitational to Chesterton that they just visited. No big deal. We do have some scrimmages going on this week. Very active with the scrimmages. We have the soccer team visiting DeMont Christian. No big deal. The volleyball team going up against their arch rival, West Central, but of course that's a scrimmage, and the football team's visiting Rochester for their first scrimmage as well. Then Saturday, here we go, baby, Saturday at 10 a.m., we will start hosting invites. This one's for volleyball, the Winamac Invitational. So please, if you are available this weekend, this Saturday at 10 a.m., take a stop by the Winamac High School and you'll see our Winamac volleyball team in action. So before we dive into our cross-country programs, which of course I'm super excited about, we'll catch up with the head coach of the Winamac Lady Warrior golf team, Coach Shell will update us on performance from yesterday's match against Plymouth Chesterton. So stay tuned. Next up, Coach Shell will give us all the details. Don't you go anywhere. You're doing it. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Sierra Haschel, student athlete for Winamac High School, and you're listening to Winamac Athletic Podcast.
And welcome back to the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, we are joined by Coach Jeremy Shell, the head coach for the Winamac golf team. Coach, thanks a lot for joining us today in your busy schedule. Before we talk about your performance today at Pretty Lake, we have to talk about one of your players, Coach, and she received the Athlete of the Week for Winamac, Sierra Haschel. She, on Tuesday's invite at Rensselaer, she got her PR. So, heck, we have to talk about her and what she has done so far this year, her senior year. What do you have to say about your senior captain, Sierra Haschel, so far this year?
Yeah, hey, Justin, super proud of Sierra. Well-deserved there. She's worked really hard this summer to get where she's at right now. Not only did she set that PR, but she's been our lowest scorer so far through our three first events. So excited to see her continue to progress as the season goes on, and look forward to see her, setting some more PRs.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about your meet. Just happened yesterday. You went to go visit Pretty Lake in Plymouth. You had a competition in Plymouth and in Chesterton. How was Pretty Lake? I'm sure it was pretty, but how'd your girls do against those two bigger schools there, Plymouth and Chesterton?
Yeah, so it was a bit of a struggle tonight. Girls were hitting the ball really well. Just once they got on the putting surface, the greens were rolling extremely quick, and girls just struggled with pace. So there's several girls that probably had more putts today than they care to talk about, but that's part of it. Adjusting to different green speeds is tough, especially when you're at the high school level and you're not playing a lot of different courses throughout the summer, and then the season hits and boom, you're hitting all these other courses with lightning fast greens. So that hurt us. It's tough to keep up with a Chesterton. We were talking with their number one tonight, and we thought it was funny because their graduating class this year is 500 and ours is 80. So kind of difference there in school size. But I'm still, proud of the progress I'm seeing so far. And, we'll clean up some short game stuff. And I think we're going to be right where we want to be.
Hey, I appreciate your time, Coach. Thanks a lot. I know next week you're busy as well. Monday you have a head-to-head matchup against Knox at 5:30. And then the next day, on Tuesday, August 20th, you have another head-to-head matchup against a new conference opponent in North Miami. Should be the Warrior Showdown, if you will. You guys go against those two schools. That one against North Miami is at 4:30. But both of those schools are at home. So you'll be at home next week, both matchups. I appreciate your time with this, Coach.
Hey, thanks again, Justin. I appreciate you having me back on.
Hey, thanks a lot, Coach. That was Jeremy Shell, the head coach for the Winamac golf team. And now, let's welcome our second guest of the day, Mr. Mikey Haschel, the head coach of the Winamac cross-country teams. Coach is kicking off his first year as the head coach for the Winamac Warrior cross-country programs. But before we sit down with Coach Haschel and dive into the exciting prospects of the upcoming 2024 season, we need to go over his accomplishments because not only is he our now new head coach for the Winamac Warriors, but he is a Winamac Hall of Famer. No big deal. Very first one on this show. Haschel, he won 4 individual sectional championships and 2 regional championships just in cross country. Mikey was a 3-time state qualifier in cross country, and he placed in the top 5 in all 3 appearances at those state meets. No big deal. He still holds the boys' record in cross country with a time of 15 minutes and 15 seconds. I don't even believe I can do that with a bicycle. But next up is Winamac Hall of Famer and new cross country head coach Mikey Haschel. Stay tuned as he comes on the show and goes over his 2024 cross country teams. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
It's time for the Warrior Coach of the Day. Let's return to the voice of the Winamac Athletic Podcast, Justin Ruff.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to our 5th episode of the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, we are super thrilled to introduce Mr. Mikey Haschel, the new head coach of our Winamac Warrior Cross Country programs. Mikey, hey, thanks a lot, Coach, for joining us today. How's it going?
Yeah, it's going well.
Awesome. So today's episode, it presents a fantastic opportunity to get to know you a little bit better, your background, your journey leading up to this point. I actually went on before we were recording, I went on to go over all your accomplishments. And I tell you what, Mikey, it was a long list, but when I looked at some of the stuff that you accomplished when you were in high school, my mind kind of blew up and my mouth kind of dropped. It's just remarkable that you made the state 3 times, and in those 3 times, you finished in the top 5 in those 3 times. And I'm just thinking, holy cow, and then your record is 15, which is the record here in Winamac, 15 minutes and 15 seconds. It just blows my mind that we had a runner like you here at Winamac, which is freaking fantastic. And then, if anybody knows anything about cross country, they know who Steve Prefontaine is. And I remember when I was a kid watching you in your prime in Winamac. You had long, glorious hair. All right. Steve Prefontaine had long, glorious hair. And we had our own Steve Prefontaine at Winamac. You didn't have the mustache. No mustache, but you had the hair. I absolutely loved watching you in cross country, but that's a little bit of the background. I talked about your accomplishments. Let's go through your year and other hobbies in sports you were in.
Well, cross country, track were the sports I was in.
Mm-hmm.
Cross country being my favorite of the two.
Right.
I didn't really seem to do as well in the track. I mean, it did well, but not to the same degree as I did in cross country.
Were you always what got you engaged into cross country? Was it just a thing that your parents, kind of forced you, I guess, or led you into that sport? What got you into cross country?
It starts with my brothers both joined cross, and I think timing wise, it was back during the marathon boom. There was a kind of a big late 80s, early 90s. Marathons became the thing for adults, and a lot of parents were doing this training, and the kids followed along. And they had joined cross, and shortly thereafter that happened. So Dad was running as well. So I was running and chasing the 3 of them. So obviously trying to top them in some way, shape, or form. But
that's awesome.
That's kind of how it all started.
That's cool. And you were a 2002 grad.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, awesome. Moving on to your college experience. I know that it would be kind of silly for lots of colleges not to be interested in a guy who made the state 3 times. So what did you do right after high school? What college did you attend? And I'm guessing that you ran cross country and track in that college.
Yeah. Towards the all through my high school career, I kind of thought I'd end up at Florida State, which was one of the spots I was leaning heavily on. And when it came down to it, it was between them and Indiana State, and there were some things going on with family, and stayed local. So Indiana State it was.
Awesome. Sycamore.
Yeah,
no big deal.
So
that's awesome.
Ran for the old Sycamores.
And you did track as well, though. There.
I did. I was a red shirt in track.
Okay.
I did run my freshman year for the cross country team, but red shirted through track.
And we just say cross country a little bit better at, right?
Yeah, well, it made more sense.
It made more sense. Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's go. Let's explore your journey post college. Let's hear about your current job, which I think you're at year 2 here at the school, which is awesome. Let's talk about that, and also let's talk about your coaching career at One Mac.
Well, yeah, I'm just about ready to probably turn over one full year here. I wasn't at the IT director spot here at school at the beginning of the school year, so that's been a bit of an awakening.
Okay.
It's starting to maybe settle down. I'm not sure if we can really say the dust has settled yet, but no, it's been a great transition. I really like it. It's been great to be closer around the kids, so that we can stay in touch and hopefully try and recruit more and things like that. So it's been a great environment to work at.
Awesome. And you've been alongside with Coach Bennett for the last how many years you've been assistant?
I think I was assisting for neighborhood of 10 years in track. It was off and on. I was with Beach, Coach Beach there for some years back in the mid 2000s, and then was on hiatus there for a while and came back to track for the last few years. So awesome. Cross has been a pretty solid 10 years there.
Now, I know you said we've been saying you're the new head coach, but you've been these kids pretty much with the back of your hand. I'm guessing because you've been part of the program, which is awesome. Now let's dig deep to the history of cross country, Winamac cross country. Heck, we kind of had to stop ourselves, Mikey, because we were too. We were going on and on about the history of cross country for the boys and the girls programs. We were trying to talk about the coaches and the time frame on the coaches and stuff like that. I know from my personal experience, I fell in love with cross country by my sister, who fell in love with cross country by watching you. It's wild that she started, I think, about a little bit after you graduated. So she started high school maybe 2002 or 2003, and she fell in love with cross country by watching you. And she kind of guided me to being in cross country. And the history of cross country kind of is mind blowing to me, because we have Jerry Jones, Hall of Famer for Winamac, who coached for, I think, longer than I've been alive currently right now. Coached for a long time, for the boys mainly, but he did coach for the girls for a long period of time. We have Kevin Whiteman for the girls side, who coached for a long period of time. Megan Wagner took over after Whiteman, and then Coach Adam Bennett, who was there, who was the girls head coach for 16 years, who won 2 sectional titles for the girls, the first sectional title for the girls program back in 2020, and then he won 6 conference. So that's just for the girls. That's a lot. My mouth hurt a little bit right there. That's just the girls side, Mikey. For the boys, Jerry Jones did a fantastic job with that program. You won a sectional title, right? Back in 99.
Yeah, he had quite a few sections.
He had quite a few. Yeah. That is correct. And so, but with Bennett, he won 2 for the boys. He won 6 for the conferences for the girls. But I mean, it's remarkable the history, the strong history for Winamac cross country. You were a big part of that under Jerry Jones. Let's go through how you feel, what your knowledge on everything about the Winamac cross country programs, both boys and girls.
Yeah, it'd be remiss not to also bring up the point that under Jerry Jones from this, as we said, 67 or something like that, when I started coaching. Through that time, through my era, we had a group at around that time that was extremely strong, and you would wonder how is it that these things happen kind of in waves and whatnot. But a lot of credit to the Kevin Whiteman, Jim Hannes, the middle school program back in that time. And in any time you look at a successful high school program, you should probably take a peek at that middle school program.
Right.
And the middle school program at that time, Jim Hannes is a genius as far as running goes. He's still a very active runner, but he fed him and Kevin and those that were running like the like late 8 running club, and there was quite a feeder program.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that fueled a lot of the fire for some of these dominant teams along the time. And like I said, there was a lot of running families also that came through where they're constantly pumping out new runners for us.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. You, of course, you ran under Hall of Famer Jerry Jones. Can you give us any kind of, inside info with Coach Jones and, what kind of coach he was? I never had the honor to run under him. You did. Do you have any info on him, how he was?
he was awesome. Personally, it was like he had a sense of humor that was like a David Letterman. I don't know.
Okay.
Anybody even that'd be a kind of a tough reference now, but maybe now that he's on Netflix, some of these people were kids and whatnot will know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
But as far as a coach goes, great motivator, and just an awesome recruiter. Because I think anybody you talk to will say, "Oh, I remember how he, would like he'd be on anybody like to join," and then great at stats. Like
Really?
yeah, and I'm still going through. I got like half of his archives from one of his sons, and
Cool.
he had hey, he told me he had these, and I was like, yeah, definitely. When he brings me half of them, like, I want them all, because like Coach Jones was great. Like, you knew, and we had a kind of a side conversation before we got started. We'll probably maybe get back to it, but you knew who the legacy was on the team. Like, there was names that he would throw out that became like commonplace. Like,
Right.
There's a fellow that's still around town, like a John Chapman.
Yeah.
Kids now like, oh, John Chapman, Edward Jones, and like, anybody my age that or ran that cross country knows that, oh, he was on a team that Jerry would have talked about.
Yeah.
And some of these other names, like it's interesting because like and I'd like to make sure that these names keep being brought up, because next thing you know, you're part of that legacy, and
Right.
Kids in the future will be talking about you.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of history, you gotta mention the guy who you taken over, and Coach Adam Bennett. I know he had some very high things. Talk about the history of Winamac cross country. I'm gonna steal a quote from him. I really talked to him a lot. I just got off the phone with him. But what he had to say was, quote, Winamac has a great long history of solid runners that I believe really built upon itself because of the past success. I feel like I was always blessed to have great runners in my career. I was very fortunate to see a lot of wins and success because of the great kids and athletes, end quote. So that's what he had to say about just the history of Winamac. And now he is a big part of that. I feel like I'm very honored to have had him as my coach. I didn't have any records, no records for me. I might have a record on the most skipped meets, which she has fun stories about. It's not really a good record to talk about. But I do remember in middle school is when he first started to be the head coach back in 2004, I believe, 5. And I remember fearing him going into high school. I don't know what it was, the way he yelled. I don't know what it was, mean face. But I kind of like was scared of him, but I kept going in the cross country. But now I am super blessed and honored to have him as a coach, because now, again, I'm still in communication with him a lot. And he's a great guy, great person, great motivator. What did you learn just from being with him as an assistant coach?
Adam and Ben and I have been friends for quite some time. Actually, it's come full circle now, as when I was in high school, he had started here around the same, I can't even remember what year it would be, but anyway, I was in his tech systems class. So here I am now, having coached with him, and now, as he's vacated this position, here I am. So it's definitely been a really close relationship in that regard. And he is wonderful with accountability. I know that it was something that probably had to be massaged quite a bit with me in the early years, but he he definitely does strike fear into the eye of the runner.
So it wasn't just me.
No. That was probably a pretty common theme there.
Okay.
He definitely knew how to keep people on their toes, and yeah, it's pretty interesting.
And so, I mean, when I talked to him, he was actually at his new role in his new job, sitting by a pool or something. He said, "Oh, I'm by someone's pool right now." I'm like, "Bennett, really?
Must be nice.
Must be nice." But good for him. We're happy for him that he's got a role that he really, enjoys. But I have a quick question, another question about the history, and then we can move on. Again, we can go on and on about the history. But are you guys still doing the? I don't know if we're going to say this or not. I don't know if it's a secret. Are you guys still doing the shaved legs before sectional time?
That has been something that has been opt in or out, depending on who they are.
Okay. All right.
It's some years they're all about it, and I want to think there's some years it starts in conference, and some years it starts at sectionals.
Okay.
See, back in my day, yeah, we did it.
That's what I was. Okay. Okay. Thank
I don't know if it was a we thing. I know I did it, and I want to say that we all participated by the end of the season.
So did you start it, Mikey? Did you?
I don't know if that was a start. If it was started by somebody that we all observed at the same time.
Okay, because Mikey, we did that.
Yeah.
And there was a point my freshman and sophomore year, I didn't want to do it, but I was kind of, I wouldn't say teased or whatever.
Well,
but
hopefully there's somebody listening to the podcast that comes from an era before us. That
help us out. Help us out.
I've got some buddies that were upperclassmen. Maybe they can tell us exactly when it started.
Mikey, there was a time where my sophomore year, we did it like 4 or 5 times during that same year. And I blame it on this reason. I still have no hair on my legs. Oh, don't joke. I can show you afterwards. Never get back. Because I did it so many times in those 4 years I ran cross country. It's just not there anymore. Which, I mean, I guess I can, I'm a little bit sad about it, but,
it's great. And like I said, I think it's a badge of honor. Kind of like, some people, if you're in the know, you know what it probably is.
Yeah.
When you walk by and you see somebody wearing a Garmin watch, like, oh, there's a runner. Oh, their legs are shaved. They either swim or they run.
Well, that's good to know, though. That's good to know that it was started way before my time.
Yeah, I who knows where that dates back to. I know I did it all through season, and who knows who, turned us on to the things that we do.
Yeah, when we had a kind of thing, we have spaghetti dinner at Bennett's house, and then we would shave our legs.
Yep.
Oh, fun times. Okay. No big deal. Again, we could talk about even more about the history, maybe some other time, but let's shift gears and focus to your current team. Now, I understand on the girls' side, Mikey, that you lost some pretty good seniors. And for the boys' side, didn't lose anybody, which is good. But let's talk about, so you start your season, I have here August 24th, and that would be the Logan Sport invite Saturday. And so that's, I remember the Logan Sport invite, the course at least, and always through the woods and stuff, pretty good times. But let's start with the girls' side. Let's talk about your current team, all right, and who you're really excited about.
Well, I'm excited for the whole team. I'm not one that's ever going to say that this person or that person, because in the end, the person that did the best is the one that really just improved the most. I mean, and if you want to really put a label on it,
right?
We were saying that as long as you're coming in the door and better at the end of the season than you were when you walked in, then that's ultimately the goal. And that's on the girls' side,
right? Yeah.
So, the boys' side, same thing. Like we got the talent coming back that we had last year, and I think we'll probably have a much better record just because we do have a bit more volume on the boys' side than we did last year. Last year we had a couple incidents where we ran short and we're cut loose. Like a conference, we had a couple absences that made us not even be able to have a score on the conference board. So be interesting to see what we do now with a full team.
Right, absolutely. I know on the boys' side, you return your top 3 runners. And I think those 3 runners had maybe in sectional, they were in the top 3 of them are in the top 15, I think, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
sounds about
strong.
right.
That's
Yeah,
strong.
They and they've definitely made some improvements over the summer as
Right.
well. I know that all 3 of them have been they're all into it,
Mhm.
but this year there's been some racing happening at the road races. There's been some camps going on. There's been a lot more. Another thing to add about this current group of Winamac runners is just the number that are actually out to be better runners. I know that might sound odd, but with this sport, there's a number of reasons why people join, whether it's conditioning for their primary sport, it's just something to do, or they're forced by, against their will maybe. But the core of the team does actually identify as distance runners. And again, like having done it for a long time, they're involved in their training, they're asking questions, they're wanting to do more. They're really wanting to make the most of what's left of their high school career, whether they're just starting out as freshmen or they're seniors that are, getting close to the finish line here. The mental attitude that they have is an example for future teams. And, if that continues on, Winamac XC is going to have a really bright future. And I'm super proud of this group.
Well, that's awesome. And that kind of feeds into our next question. What summer activities? That's good to hear with those guys being, active during the summer months. But what did you do with your teams during the summertime in your schedule?
We ran the same basic conditioning schedule that we've done in the past, with 3 days a week up until the last few weeks of summer. The mileage had been a bit more variable. Those that were seasoned had miles that they were prescribed on the days that we weren't there, and had no issues as far as people doing what they're expected to do even when we're not here. It's more of a suggestion, because there's a lot going on this summer. But hey, if you want to be where you want to be by the end of the summer, I would, kind of suggest that you do these things. And then we're meeting a few times a week as well, just to, it's easier when you're held accountable by your peers.
Right.
There was a drastic difference between who's running what miles. I've got a lot of new people that have not ran before, and I know there's, for some reason, everybody just fears that they're going to come out and be made to run 10 miles, and that is absolutely not the case. You got to meet everybody where they're at. So there was a lot of people that are goal one is just to become consistent.
Right.
So that was our number one goal for the summer is, if you aren't consistent, you're going to become consistent. And if you're already there, then let's see if we can tack on some more miles, and let's go from there.
Love it. Consistency. Love it. Fundraisers. Let's talk about those and camps. I know you kind of mentioned a little bit. I could have been off air. I can't remember the camps that you had with the kids. Let's talk about your summer camps and any fundraisers that you might have.
Yeah. So we did have a summer camp this year
at the state park.
Yeah. We stay out at the state park, out in the cabins. We had quite a few conflicts this year as far as things are already scheduled. Some couldn't make it. The year prior, it went. We had far more numbers the year before with people being available to make it. They do quite a few difficult runs during the few days we're there. It's like 3 days. And, we head up to dunes, we do some water running, we do some things, some secrets, we really want to tell everybody out there and love all the tricks. I mean,
yes.
You can find it if you look hard enough, but we do hard things.
There you go.
It's basically, it's kind of like a boot camp, mini boot camp. And, if you made it through camp, then there's no training week that's going to be more difficult than that.
Is that just high school?
Yeah, it is just high school. Right now, there might be some future opportunity for the middle school to be involved.
There you go.
Like right now, that's where we were on it.
Awesome. Before we dig into the goals, who is coaching your middle school program? We talked about it. Middle school program is really big and important. Who's leading those teams for you?
Shannon Benil and Connor Jones are currently our middle school coaches.
Nice.
They came on last year. Connor having coached track before. And Shanna, having ran 1 million miles of her own, they did a great job, and they keep it intense and and also entertaining, so that we've got some kids coming in from the pipelines here.
Love it.
That's what's going to be most important, to keep everybody involved.
There you go. Love it. Fantastic. All right, let's move on to the goals for the 2024 season. Last year, your girls, safe to say, your girls had some pretty good success. Boys that I mentioned advanced to regionals, so that's always awesome. Let's go through any goals that you might have for both programs and what are you aiming to achieve.
Well, goals, they're fluid. I think we've touched on this already. I don't like to compare to the person next to me.
There you go.
I mean, cross country is such a weird sport. I mean, you want to beat the person next to you. Like, it's got to be part of it, but in a healthy way. Like, ultimately, you should be wanting to beat yourself. So when it comes to our goals, I want everybody to PR, and I want everybody to PR at sectional. So if we do that, that means that we've come to sectional and we've done the best we can on that day, on the right day. So that would be my number one goal. Moving past the sectional is always going to be the moving target as well. So, like, let's get to the regional, see where we're going to be. But, ultimately, if we're peaking at the right times, we're hitting PRs at the right times. That's really the goal for me. Like, I can't say where we'll stack up against every team because I don't know what they've got, and it's such a obscure thing to reference. I can only say that if you're not beating yourself, then you're not progressing. So
there you go.
Very easy just to look in.
Did you get that from Jerry Jones? Or just
Well,
a lot of
that and just years of running, yourself. And, Jerry kept meticulous records of his wins, and you can't fault a man for that.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if I'm getting soft, but I just kind of, I say it's like, if you're trying to beat yourself, ultimately people fall behind you. If they're not doing the same,
Right.
if you're moving yourself forward, you'll end up putting people in your shadow.
I love it. Hey, Coach, we did it. No big deal. I want to say thank you for taking the time to join me today. Great combos. This is fun. This has been fun. Thank you for introducing, your squad and insights in your life. Before we wrap it up, do you have any last things to say?
Yeah, I think we should have kept the mic live. The whole time we'd had twice as much content for you. Be real stuff, even.
Yeah, well,
That's great. I really appreciate you having me on.
Hey, that's awesome. Hey, thanks again, Coach, for sharing all that info. That was Mikey Haschel, head coach for the Winamac Warrior cross country teams. Stay tuned because that will not be the last time you hear from him. We'll definitely, hopefully, get him on sometime through the season, maybe possibly before or after their invite on August 24th. So, hey, don't go anywhere just yet. We will return with our athlete spotlight of the day. I'm Justin Ruff, and you're doing it. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
It's time for the Warrior Athlete of the Day. Let's return to the voice of the Winamac Athletic Podcast, Justin Ruff.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to episode number 5 of the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, we're absolutely thrilled to welcome a member of the girls cross-country team, Cadence Hoover. Hoover, thanks a lot for joining us today. How's it going?
It's going pretty good.
As a senior at Winamac, would you mind please sharing with us the array of sports and activities you are currently involved in?
Yeah, so I'm in track and cross country, and I'm also going to manage soccer this year.
Let's go. I didn't know that.
It was
First
a
you're
last-minute
doing that.
decision, yeah.
Last minute decision. Did anybody convince you to do that, or just like, hey, I want to do more?
Well, I want the 10-letter plaque at the end of the year, so I had to get another sport. And
I like it. So no, because you're not doing a sport in the winter.
I mean, unless I want to wrestle, but
You could wrestle. Could be a manager for wrestling or a manager for. Weren't you a manager for basketball? Okay,
my
are you still
brother's
doing?
playing this year, and I think I'd rather watch him.
Oh,
instead of-
that's very nice of you. Nice big sister of you. All right, well that's cool, awesome. Out of those sports, what is your favorite one?
I think it really depends on the season that we're in, because like right now we're in cross country, and that's obviously my favorite. But then during track season, that one's my favorite at that time.
Okay, good answer. I like it. Good answer. All right, so let's get real. Actually, we just got real. Let's switch gears and talk about your summer activities. Of course, during the summertime, you can be really heavily involved with, keeping in shape for cross country and track and running on your own. But what kept you busy during the summer months?
Well, obviously I kept running, and then as like Sierra said, we went on walks sometimes.
Mhm.
We'd try to get in 10 miles, sometimes even like it was crazy amounts. But I also went to the gym. I didn't really go that much, but it was good enough.
Are you trying to, or did you try to convince Sierra to run cross country? Or
Yeah, I did try, and she said no.
she said no. Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Well, that's cool that you got her walking though and
Yeah.
stuff. Get her going. That's awesome. What really got you interested in the sport of cross country?
Well, my mom and dad kind of forced me to do it back in 6th grade. I
Okay.
didn't really start liking it until probably my freshman year, and I just kept going ever since.
So did your mom or your dad, did they run when they were in high school?
No, but my mom ran 5Ks with some of her friends as she got like older.
Okay. So is that a thing that you're wanting to do? Maybe run some marathons, or have you?
I've never ran a marathon
Okay.
over a half year.
Is that a goal?
Yeah, I'd like to.
There you go. Awesome. All right. So let's shift our focus on your team with some leadership spots available. I know we lost Maggie Smith, Lily Bennett, Wagner. Heck, good wins for them. We don't need them, right? Heck, totally joking. That was a joke. Besides yourself, of course, who do you really see stepping up on your team, putting in the work during the summer as your view as a team leader?
I personally see Avery Wagner stepping up. She's always positive at practices. She never complains, which is like a big factor. And Candace Croft and Claire also have very positive attitudes most of the time.
Awesome. Do you complain?
No, but I do have a problem with the heat sometimes. So
Okay.
hear a couple words out of me with that.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, the heat's not fun. All right, so let's dive into the question, the fire question. I have 5 questions for you. No big deal.
Mhm.
Pretty good ones. Different from Friedels. No big
Okay.
deal. Number 1, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? Favorite ice cream
Probably
flavor?
peach.
Peach.
Yeah, when we had Sally's in town, that was like my
That was the go-to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they have just like clumps of peach in there.
Yeah,
Is that just
actual.
You know what? I do like peach. However, I do not like to chew my ice cream. So blizzards, no. I can't do a blizzard. I don't really like to chew my ice cream. It's not my favorite thing to do. So I kind of go just normal. But you like
Basic flavors.
Yeah, but you like peach.
Mhm.
Peach flavor ice cream. Good for you. All right. Number 2, least favorite movie. Movie you just, maybe you went to a movie theater, it's like, that was not good. Or any kind of just, what movie do you dislike the most? You have one?
I do not like romantic movies.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So, Notebook is not for
Okay,
you.
well, I did like the Notebook.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's like the best romantic movie.
Yeah,
But,
other
okay, so you're on board with the Notebook, but
Yeah.
The Vow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I get where you're going with that. Okay. But romantic movies out of the picture, but Notebook's good. Okay. Here's another one. Number 3, would you rather put your hands in a jar of cockroaches or a jar of spiders?
Neither.
Gotta pick one. Let's play the game.
Cockroaches.
Okay. Well, they're nice cockroaches. They're nice ones. They don't bite you.
I'm not a bug fan.
Okay, but you would rather do that versus spiders, cockroach.
Had to pick.
If you had to.
Yeah.
Okay. So you love cockroaches. Good for you. River. All right. All right. I have that magic wand. Okay, I have it. I can turn you into any kind of animal that you want. Any kind of animal. What would that animal be and why?
Probably a fish.
A fish.
Yeah.
Okay. What kind of fish? Just tiny little Nemo fish?
Yeah,
Or
I'll do Nemo.
you do Nemo?
Yeah, I'll do Nemo.
Okay. So in the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, a little weird, but that's fine. Good. I like it. All right, secret unknown fact about Hoover. What is it?
I am terrified of chickens. I'm not even kidding. They used to chase me when I was younger. Absolutely.
Okay, so here's the thing. for Heschel to make you run faster, put a chicken on the course, and there you go.
I will
Is
not
that-
be showing up.
Is it
So
that won't work?
no,
Okay. Well, you don't like chickens.
Mm-mm.
Well, you eat a chicken.
I do not like chicken either.
Oh, so you don't like to eat the chicken? Okay. That's a good. See, look, Logan, she had a good unknown fact. Come on, man. Those are good ones. Okay. Well, that was fun. Let's wrap it up and discuss your season goals, Hoover, and your personal goals. Do you have any season goals for your personal self and your team? Do you have any of those?
Yeah, for my team, I hope that we make it to regionals this year,
Mhm.
considering we did lose 3 seniors. Well, I guess it was like 5 seniors last year. And then my personal goals are to either break like 20 maybe, or like mid-20s,
Okay. What is your PR?
around mid-20s.
In 20s?
Mhm.
Okay. So you're shooting for that.
Yeah.
Of course. Awesome. Well, that's good. That's good. All right. Well, hey, a big thank you to Cadence Hoover for spending this time with us today. Open up about yourself, tackling those questions. I know you love cockroaches and chicken. That's awesome. Do you have any last words or comments for us today?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks again, Hoover. That was Cadence Hoover, senior for the Winamac Warrior Girls Cross Country team. And who knows, we'll have her back on later on in the season. We will be right back. I'm Justin Ruff, and you're doing it. You're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Logan Friedel, student athlete for Winamac High School, and you're listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Welcome back, and thank you for tuning in to the 5th episode of the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Today, we're absolutely thrilled to welcome a member of the boys cross country team, Logan Friedel. Friedel, you're here, man. Thanks a lot for joining us. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. As a junior, no big deal. And, I do like to say, I know with Stark, he was the first underclassman. He was the first sophomore to be on the show. You are the first junior to be on the show. No big deal, right?
No big
Cool.
deal.
No big deal. I love it. Okay, junior, first junior to be on the show. Would you mind please sharing with us today all the sports and activities that you're currently in high school?
I'm currently involved in cross country, golf, and track and field.
Cross country, golf, and track. Awesome. Now let's get real a little bit today. The real moment. What is your favorite sport in those 3 that you're involved in? Favorite sport?
It's definitely cross country.
Definitely. You're not just saying that because Haschel's staring you down.
No,
Okay.
no.
You love cross country.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. Okay. Cross country is number 1. Let's switch gears and talk about your summer activities. I know those 3 sports alone will keep you very busy. It's funny because I have seen 5 of you guys, between the boys and the girls, 5 athletes that I remember running just during the summer, just during the summertime. Of course, you're one of them.
Yeah.
And I've seen Hoover running it out. And one of them, I can't remember who it was. I can't remember with you if it was Dylan. One of you guys were running at like freaking 5:30 in the morning. And but holy cow, good for you. And I'm sure that makes Coach Haschel a little bit happy. We just have dedication and doing that. That's awesome stuff. But with your summer activities, what keeps you busy during the summer months?
Yeah, that definitely wasn't me running.
That wasn't.
No.
I knew I saw you running though. Not at 5:30.
Yeah.
Not at
Not
5:30.
at
Okay. All right. That's all right.
Yeah, I played a lot of pickleball, and I definitely, I practiced at golf a little bit too.
Okay. Pickleball. Awesome. Who do you play pickleball with?
Just my friends.
Just your friends?
Yeah.
All right. They don't have a pickleball Olympics yet, do they?
No, I don't think they do yet.
It is on ESPN.
Yeah.
So it's I'm sure it'll get there. Heck, they have badminton in the Olympics. I'm sure they'll get pickleball here soon. No big deal. Awesome. Cool stuff. Pickleball. Now, what interested you to be in cross country? I know, in cross country that we do have a middle school program. I don't know if you started middle school, you enjoyed it, but what really interested you to be in this sport?
I started in 6th grade, and I kind of just gained interest in it, and I love to compete. So
That's a big part of it,
yeah.
right? Competition in cross country. That's awesome. All right, now let's shift our focus to your current team. Besides yourself, of course, who do you see really stepping up? You guys didn't lose any seniors last year,
No.
right? So who do you feel like, other than yourself, really stepping up in on the team in the personal goals for everyone else?
Dylan Guilford's a pretty good leader. He knows how to push the pace, and he knows how to push our teammates and stuff. And Ethan Pershowski, he's also a pretty good leader. So
2 good leaders.
Yeah.
It's good to have. And you being the junior, looking at those guys, especially Dylan, he's a senior. That's good to, keep all that knowledge in the brain until next year, right?
yeah,
That's awesome. Awesome stuff. All right. Fun time. No big deal. This is fun, but going into the question portion of the fun. All right. I have 5 questions for you. No big deal. Okay. And it's not timed or anything, but answer them the best you can. Number 1 question. Your favorite fruit. What is your favorite fruit that you like to eat? In cross-country runners, they like, that's one of the main things that you should eat healthy, right?
yeah.
So, favorite fruit.
Probably watermelon.
Water.
Is that a fruit?
Yes, I do believe that is
All right.
that is a fruit. No, watermelon. We'll take it. Okay. Least favorite cross-country course. Now, I know you have one. I feel like every runner, I know I have some. Every runner should have a least favorite one that you see on the schedule, and like, oh gosh darn it, I don't want to go there. What was your least favorite one?
Honestly, I would say our sectional course last year, Rensselaer.
Rensselaer. Oh yeah. That was when I ran. That was the sectional course, I do believe, and we always dread that. There's nothing fun about it. I don't feel like you still run through those little trees and woods and that. Yeah. I agree with you. Okay, a little bit of a weird question, but heck, this is weird. I guess no big deal. Would you rather be a cute, cuddly bunny or a beautiful butterfly? You had to pick one.
Probably a beautiful butterfly.
Well, why is that? You just want to travel the world because you can fly.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
All right. Beautiful butterfly. I love it. Okay. I have a cool magical wand that I can turn you into something. I can give you any kind of power at all. I just found this wand, pretty cool stuff. I can give you any kind of power in the world. What would that power be?
Yeah.
Superpower.
Be the fastest man alive.
There you go. I love it. Be the fastest man. And you would obviously use that cross country, I would hope, right?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Good answer. Another good answer, Ashel. He's getting good answers here. All right. Last one. I really like this one. I keep this one. Unknown fact about you that not a lot of people know. Anything, heck, can you fly at nighttime? Anything like that. Anything that not a lot of people know about you for that.
I don't even know.
You don't know anything.
No.
You don't have any cool. Like I know. Walters could make music with her mouth.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't do
You
that.
can't do that. Can you sing? Can you dance? You look like a dancer. No,
No.
nothing.
Pretty
Yeah.
generic.
Okay, well that's all right. We like generic people. Like you're fast.
Yeah.
People know that though, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, that was fun. That was not bad. Let's wrap it up with your season goals. Now I know you have season goals and team goals. I know you got your PR possibly in your head. Are you shooting for that, or what other personal goals and team goals do you have for the team this year for that?
Yeah, I'm definitely shooting for a big PR this year.
What is your PR?
1705 right now.
1705.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're shooting for that.
Oh yeah.
All right. Awesome. And team goals, do you have any of those?
Yeah, I think we can definitely make it past sectionals. Be pretty good in regionals.
Right. And you guys advanced the regionals last year.
Yeah.
So that is, of course, the goal this year.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great goals. Well, hey, Friedel, we did it. No big deal. Thanks a lot for spending the time answering those questions for us today. If you find out a special unknown fact, you got to let me know. So,
All right.
okay. No big deal. Do you have any last words or comments to share with us today?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. No powers?
No powers.
Okay. That's fine. Awesome. Friedel, hey, thanks a lot for joining us today. That was Logan Friedel Jr. for the Winnemac Warrior cross country team. Who knows? Maybe we will have him back to talk about more cross country, golf, or track later on. Stay tuned, and we'll be back after a brief word from one of our sponsors. Hey, you're doing it. You're listening to the Winnemac Athletic Podcast.
Today's episode is brought to you by Riverside Rentals. Discover canoeing, kayaking, and lazy river tubing right here in Winnemac. Action Plumbing and Heating for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Been serving people since 1994.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for episode number 5 of the Winamac Athletic Podcast. We are excited to share that our next episode will be airing next Tuesday, featuring one of our talented fall coaches, and this time will be the head coach of the Winamac football team, Coach Josh Burgess. Join us as we explore his coaching journey, dive into the history of his sport, introduce their roster, and discuss their goals for the upcoming 2024 season. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to us, we kindly ask you to rate, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us reach a wider audience and keep everyone updated on our Warrior athletes. A big shout out and thank you to Coach Haschel, Cadence Hoover, and Logan Friedel for being our guest today. Another huge shout out to Jeremy Schell for keeping us updated on his girls golf team. And another huge shout out to Riverside Rentals and Action Plumbing and Heating for sponsoring this episode. If you're a business owner and interested in supporting our Winamac athletes, please reach out to us through social media. Your support means everything to these athletes. And with that, we've wrapped up our 5th episode. No big deal. It's been an incredible journey, and I'm super honored to be the voice behind the Winamac Athletic Podcast. Stay tuned for many exciting episodes throughout the year. Once again, I'm Justin Ruff, and this is the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Winamac Athletic Podcast, sponsored by Riverside Rentals. Discover canoeing, kayaking, and lazy river tubing right here in Winamac. Action Plumbing and Heating for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Been serving people since 1994. We'd like to thank our sponsors for supporting Winamac Athletics and being part of the Winamac Athletic Podcast.
Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe.